Hey, Stewards Chapel, this is Don Pierson, and this is Thursday's devotion. And in Colossians chapter 4, verses 2 through 6. Continue earnestly in prayer, with being vigilant in it with thanksgiving. Meanwhile, praying also for us that God would open to us a door for the word to speak the mystery of Christ, for which I am also in chains, that I may make it manifest, that is the gospel, manifest or clear, as I ought to speak. Walk in wisdom towards those who are outside, redeeming the time. Let your speech also always be with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer each one. A powerful section of Scripture, a powerful prayer about asking God to give you a divine opportunity to open a door for you to be able to share the love and the message of the gospel with someone who is lost, someone who doesn't know it. It's interesting that in this passage, he recognizes that there's a difference between a Christian and a lost Christian. You're praying for a Christian to have an opportunity to share the love of Jesus with a lost person. But it also lets you know that you need to do this with wisdom in how you walk or deal with them. In other words, it's not like you're supposed to just be all up in their life and them in yours. No, this is a relationship purely of separation, but also a message of drawing them near to the Lord. I have prayed that prayer many, many times, and God has answered that prayer multiple times and given me divine opportunities. There's a man named Joe of Colorado. He sometimes watches the devotions. I was in an elk hunt 2 years ago in Colorado, and I had 7 other men that I had taken out there for their first hunt for elk. I had been out there 15 years. I knew the mountains well. Problem was I had broken my back just a few weeks before this trip. Didn't even know whether I was going to be able to make the trip, but I went. On opening day, I got them all scattered across the mountains, and I'm the last one, and I have an accident. I hurt my back again. I'm unable to hunt the rest of the day. I go to church on Sunday, and Monday I'm still hurting. I'm not able to hunt. The men are discouraged and disappointed. They haven't seen any elk or seen any elk sign. And I'm not able to be there to get them directed and looking. I went fishing on Monday morning and had fished all day Monday morning, just thinking about them. And I had prayed that morning. I said, Lord, give the men favor, open up a door, bring someone in their life that can direct them to where the elk are. Well, I went on, and as I finished that afternoon about lunch, I'm headed back to my car. We're in a wilderness area, and there's another car parked next to me. And as there doesn't seem to be anybody in there, but there's a person that's got his seat all the way down, and he's asleep. I didn't even see him. As I'm putting my fishing pole back in the car, getting ready to get out, this man gets out. This man's Joe. A man born and raised in Colorado, just a really kind man, and we start a conversation, and he says to me, he says, "You got your hunting gear?" And I said, "Yeah." I had already told him about my back and why I hadn't been hunting. He said, "Well, I'm going up there." Well, I knew exactly where he was going. I even told him the spot, told him where I would sit up there, and he said, "That's exactly where I'm going." He said, "Come on." Well, he basically carried me up, took care of all my gear. He got me there. We took our time, and sure enough, the elk were there. That night, as we were coming back down to the car, I told him about that fact that there were 7 others, and asked him, I said, "Do you mind when I get back to the cabin if I can call you and you can just give them some kind of direction about some mountains where the elk might be, give them some encouragement?" Well, they did that. In fact, he did that, and we became friends. And to this day, I text Joe every Monday morning, just like I do many, many of you. I pray for Joe constantly, praying that God would continue to draw in him closer and closer to the Lord. And the Lord's working in his life. That was a divine appointment. I encourage you to pray, even for people that you know, that God would open doors for you to go a little bit farther in showing and telling the story of Jesus and what he can do for them. So I challenge you. Pray for a divine appointment today. Love you, Sears Chapel.